Hi everyone, welcome to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I'm going to be doing an overview on this new computer case from Cooler Master. This is the HAF XM. So here's a full 360-degree view of the HAF XM. If you're not familiar with the HAF series from Cooler Master, it stands for High Airflow. And actually one of the first cases we did a video on here at Newegg TV was a HAF case. And there's a few details about them that it sort of maintain the same throughout. But this is the HAF XM. And one of the most popular cases in the HAF series is the HAF X, which is a full tower computer case. So this is sort of a mid-tower version of the HAF X that Cooler Master has released. And we're going to start right up here on the front to talk about, first off, the inputs and outputs right up here at the top. You also got buttons up here on the top that you can't see, but we'll come back to those. A couple USB 2.0 ports. You also have a headphone and microphone jack, and a couple super speed USB 3.0 ports that have an internal header. You get three 5¼ inch drive bays right there. They all have vented covers to allow some airflow behind them. And then you get a couple X-Dock bays right here, and you've noticed they put a sticker here to tell you to remove these if you're going to remove the front panel, which I'm going to do. These are hot swap bays. They're wired to a backplane, SATA backplane back there, so you can pop in a 3.5 or 2.5 inch drive into one of those, slot it in, and then connect it easily to your case. Again, ventilation on the front of those. In keeping with the high airflow theme, you have lots and lots of airflow for this case. So two of those for two hot swap bays. And then moving down the front of here, we have a large 200mm fan, which is another hallmark of the HAF series. They were one of the first series of cases that came out with lots and lots of large fans. Large fans have a couple benefits. One is that they can spin at lower RPMs, which produces less noise in your computer. And also, due to their large size, they can actually push more air. So less sound, more airflow, win-win. I talked about the front panel, so I'm going to pop that off real quick. You can just grip it at the bottom to pop it off. Here we can see some dust ventilation back there, so you can pop this off to clean that out if you want. And then here you can see the front panel covers have little clips that hold them in place, so you can pop those on and off fairly easily if you want to install or remove a 5¼ inch drive. There's a look at behind the front panel. Again, that front 200mm fan, that is a red LED fan, and you can actually turn the LED on or off by pushing the button at the top of the case. Moving around here to the left side, as you can see, they have actually put a handle right here. It's a little latch. So right now it's actually held on with thumb screws, but if you don't use the thumb screws, you can use that to easily remove or reinstall the left side panel. Also have a large grilled area right here, so you can actually install a 200mm fan there if you want, or it's also lined up so you can put two 140mm fans. Moving around here to the back, as you can see, side panels are held on with black thumb screws. At the top you have another thumb screw that's holding on this top panel. I should mention that the panels on the front and the top are made of plastic, and then the rest of the case also uses steel construction. You have some threading holes here, grommeted holes for routing water cooling hoses or cables. You also have a knockout there for your inputs and outputs. You have a pre-installed 140mm fan, and that's the smallest fan that comes pre-installed on the case. It's also wired up for 120mm, so this is a popular place to put, for instance, a closed-loop water cooling solution, so it can still accommodate that if you so desire. You also have 8 PCI slots here. That's right? 2, 4, 6, 8, yes, double checking. So that can accommodate with the proper motherboard, two-way or three-way Crossfire X or SLI configurations. You also have an extra PCI slot over here to the side, so you can use that to put a fan controller knob, for example, or extra USB ports, anything like that you might have for a PCI slot. Down here at the bottom, you have your power supply mount. There is a bit of grilled ventilation there, actually, this little piece that can pop out plastic if you want to clean out your dust filter. And then finally, over here we have the right side of the case. You'll notice that it is bowed out, and that provides you with extra room for cable management. Speaking of which, let me just pop this off so I can show you. They've reinforced all along the edges of the side panels, so it keeps them nice and sturdy. They don't bow or flex very much at all. Very easy to install or take them off and get at the internals of the case. As you can see, entirely painted interior for the case. They've done a really nice job with the paint job. Any of the exposed edges here have been rolled over, so that prevents you from cutting yourself. There's actually an extra 2.5 inch drive mount there, so if you have, I'd say, an SSD would probably go best right here. You can sort of tuck that away behind the rest of your components and wire that up and not have to worry about running cables over there. So that's a nice added feature. They have cable tie downs, which are scattered up here along the side of the motherboard as well as down here next to your power supply. They have a large grommeted hole right here for routing your front panel cables. You can also probably going to be where you pass through your power supply cables. A couple more grommets here at the bottom and the side of the motherboard. Very large cutout here for your CPU. So if you have a backplate needed for a aftermarket CPU heatsink fan, you can install it without having to remove the motherboard. And then up here you can see the back end of your drive cages. So these are all your 3.5-inch drive bays. I'll show you those when we get to the other side, but you can fit 2.5 or 3.5-inch drive bays, and then you can also see that front 200mm fan with the LED attachment there, so you can turn that on or off. So I've laid the case on its side now, so here's a look at the top buttons that you can see adjacent to your front buttons right there. You've got the LED light right there, so you can use that to enable or disable the LED on the 200mm front fan. You also have a large power button and a reset button along with indicator lights for both of those. Behind that you have a tray, and in the original HAF X, actually there was a water cooling reservoir fill port right here. They don't have that with the HAF XM, but they do give you a removable rubber piece right there. I presume that is so you can clean this out because there isn't really enough room for a fill port right there, but it does allow you to clean out your little storage space right there pretty easily if you want to. Behind that, as you can see, is all your ventilation on the top. Again, fully grilled top of the case to allow additional airflow. At the back here is a single thumb screw. Let me just remove that, and I can pop off this top panel. There's a look at it from both sides. So you got some reinforced honeycomb grill right there, and you can easily pop that off to clean it out if you need to. And then at the top you have a ton of space for, first of all, the 200mm fan that's pre-installed, but you do have additional options up here. If you remove this 200mm fan, you've got mounting points here for either two 120mm fans, two 240mm fans, or a 240 or 280mm radiator that you can drop right there into the top. And with the amount of clearance you have, if you look compared to the back right there, theoretically, depending on the size of fans you could use, you could fit the radiator and the fans on top, additional fans inside, and set yourself up with a push-pull. Or you could also fit the radiator inside here and have the fans out here in the external area to set yourself up for a closed-loop water cooling solution. Or a custom water cooling solution. I shouldn't leave that out. Here at the bottom of the case, we can see that there are some raised feet. They do have some rubberization going on the bottom, so that will help reduce vibration for the case overall and also protect the surface that you have the case set on. Also give some clearance here so you have air intake available for your power supply. So here's a look at the left side panel of the case, and I've removed the thumb screws on the back just so I could show you. Again, really easy to pop this side panel off and on with that included handle latch. Flipping it around to this side, you can see it just drops down these little catches right there and allows you to easily pop off the side panel. Down here you can see the back side of the dual 140 or single 120 fan mounts for your video cards. And then looking at the inside of the case again, 140mm fan pre-installed at the back, 200 at the top and 200 at the front for your pre-installed fans. All the fans come with 3-pin fan connectors, just like that one right there, but they also come with adapters like that so you can plug them directly into your power supply. You probably want to plug those into your motherboard or maybe a fan controller if you want to add one of those on. Plugging into your power supply will just keep the fan on at all times. Looking here at the inside of the case, you can see they have a single pre-installed stand up there. It's one of the little grooved ones, so it actually holds your motherboard in place once you pop it in there. Again, very nice painted interior. Down here at the bottom, you can see this power supply cover, and what this is going to do is cover and help you out with your cable management for your power supply. It's got a couple Phillips head screws there at the back that keep it secured to the case, and it's on a rail, so depending on the length of your power supply, you can actually slide this forward or back so it's at the appropriate location for your power supply. Route your cables behind that. It'll give you a cleaner look for the case and also keep your cable management a bit tidier. Speaking of the power supply, just bend this forward a little bit. There's two rails right here that the power supply sets on. They are made of rubber, so that'll again help keep the vibration down on the power supply itself. Again, power supply fan dust filter at the bottom. Moving along up here to the front of the case, we have your 3.5-inch bays. Again, there's 3 of them, and they all have toolless locking system, which is very easy to use. As you can see, lock or open. That's all you do. It's locked, now it's open. So simple. Below that are your two X-Dock bays, excuse me, and there's a back plane for that, so you'll just need a single Molex power connector for that, and then two SATA ports there to run over to your motherboard. Below that are your 3.5-inch bays, and again, all of these have these rails right here, these hard drive mounts, so you can snap those around 3.5-inch drives, fits in through the grooves right there, or you can mount a 2.5-inch drive directly to that. And actually, you get 6 of these total. The upper 3 are removable. So you can actually undo a couple Phillips head screws here, and you can actually slide out this top bay, and that will give you some additional length available for your video cards. Speaking of video cards, I've got one right here. This is a 12-inch video card, so just to show you how much actual space you have in this case, even with a full 12-inch video card, you still have that much space there. Total video card length you have available is 13.9 inches with this hard drive cage installed, or if you remove that cage, you can fit video cards up to 18.2 inches in length, which I've never even heard of. And I nearly forgot our front panel connectors, so here's your little set of hard drive LED reset power switches. These are all black sleeved, so again, keeps it a nice clean look. There's your 20-pin USB 3.0 front panel connector to plug into your motherboard. You also have a USB front panel header right there for the two USB 2.0 ports on the front. And finally, you have HD audio or AC97 audio connector to plug into your motherboard or sound card. You also have some accessories that come along with the HAF XM. So here they've given you a speaker header, which I always find is very handy to have, especially if you're doing test boots and making sure everything is posting okay with you if you don't have a monitor plugged in, for example. You also get the HAF XM mid-tower manual, so it gives you nice detailed instructions on all the specs of the case. It's multilingual and also has diagrams to guide you through the installation and setup of an entire computer system in your new case. You also get a generous serving of zip ties there, always handy to have for cable management. And then they have separated out your screws for you, so you get a set of fan mounting screws there so you can attach fans to the case or radiator. You also have your motherboard standoffs paired up here with the mounting screws for those. And then finally you have some additional drive mounting screws. Now before I close, I should mention that although this is a mid-tower computer case, it can fit micro ATX, ATX, as well as eATX motherboards. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Once again, this has been the HAF XM mid-tower computer case from Cooler Master. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, and if you enjoyed today's video, please head over to our Newegg YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more tech videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.